Hi, welcome back. I am Coach Toni. I love fitness. I'm a personal trainer. I am a certified coach. And I am here to talk about strength training in our 40s and beyond as a woman because it's different for us. This is a series for women who want to feel strong not just today, but in 10, 20, 30 years from now. Women who have lived, women who have loved, women who have carried kids, career, grief, joy, groceries, expectations, women who are still standing. And if you're listening to this thinking, I know I should strength train, but I don't know where to start. Or maybe you have tried to go to a gym, but you were intimidated or overwhelmed. This episode is for you. So thank you for being here. I am so glad you're here. And I'm praying that you can pull something from this that helps you on your journey. Strength training after 40 doesn't require some kind of a personality transplant or a gym membership that you hate or punishing your body, because so many of us do that with our exercise. Y'all, we should love exercising. We should treat ourselves to a good workout and start to love that process of what we're doing for ourselves. All this requires you do is the permission to start small and start honestly with where you are. So why does strength training and starting it after the age of 40 feel so intimidating? So for a long time, I thought running was enough. I love running. I have been distance running for an upwards of 15 years now. I've probably completed 100 marathons. And I love it. I love everything about it. I can check out. I get in my own space. I like to focus on my breathing. I like that grit of pushing through something that's really challenging. So I love it. Adding strength training wasn't about fixing a weakness in my running or in myself or admitting that maybe I just couldn't handle the miles anymore. It was about giving my body more tools to do what I already love. So I added strength, and guess what? Everything changed. I haven't been sidelined from an injury or some aches and pains in a long time. My joints feel more supported now. My stride, powerful. I'm controlled instead of just kind of like a repetitive going with the flow. The hills that I run, I look forward to them. They're not intimidating because I don't have strong legs to get me up them. And I don't get this like late race fatigue anymore where maybe if you're in a half marathon and mile 10, you're just dead, zonked out. I don't really get that anymore because I have the strength to lean on when my endurance starts to fade. My biggest surprise out of all of this, my results improved. So I've always been like mid-pack, even back of pack runner, and I'm okay with that. I was never in it for the competition, except competition with myself. I started adding strength training in it, and it has brought me to the front of the pack where I'm placing in the top 10% of most races that I run, even taking overall female at a couple of pretty big races. So it has made me a better runner, not heavier, not slower, strong. I am a more efficient force now when I'm running. I have a stronger core, so I have better posture when I'm getting tired on the trails. I have stronger hips, stronger glutes, which means that my body is going to stay aligned instead of overcompensating for weak spots. I wasn't just surviving races or long runs anymore. I started competing. Strength training didn't take anything away from my identity as a runner. It just made it better. It's why I can race with confidence now. I recover faster and I stand on podiums not because I ran more miles than somebody else, but because my body could handle the miles that I ran. This phase of transitioning from being a runner to someone who has started strength training as well isn't necessarily about changing results, but it's about laying the groundwork, and the results just happens to change. Early strength training should feel more almost boringly intentional. Slower reps, lighter loads, fewer exercises, but you're learning to do them well. It's not because you're incapable, it's because your body's learning how to cooperate again. Each controlled movement is like a conversation between your brain and your muscles, reinforcing those patterns, those basic movement patterns, those patterns of the exercises that we're doing. It is improving your awareness and rebuilding the confidence that you have in yourself and your ability to lift the weight properly. What looks simple on the outside is actually deep work happening underneath. There are some big misconceptions, though, when it comes to starting strength training. And those can be intimidating. So I wanted to touch on those just a little bit because I know a lot of y'all that are not strength training maybe deal with some of these thoughts that you have about what strength training is. So I was worried about getting injured. You push a bunch of weight, you see these guys or these women that are just so strong and they're moving all this weight and it's all about that 1 rep max and how much they can lift. I wasn't really interested in pushing a ton of weight. You don't have to lift heavy, especially not right away. You learn the form and you let your body adapt to that weight slowly. I also thought I'd be sore all the time, but just like my body adapted when I started running, it adapted to the strength training as well. So I do get sore, but I'm not sore all the time. I was worried that I wouldn't get the form right and that maybe people would look at me because I didn't know what I was doing. And that made me bring out some insecurities in myself at the time. And I had to understand, like, you don't have to be perfect. Honestly, my biggest recommendation, find a personal trainer, find a fitness coach, find somebody with the knowledge to help guide you, to watch your form, to critique those little things that you can change to become a stronger version of yourself, especially safely lifting all of this weight. So slow and steady are where the results come. Strength training, specifically after you're 40, is about learning those movement patterns, rebuilding that trust with your body. So like I mentioned, that mind-muscle relationship, and creating a safety before intensity. I tell my clients all the time, we earn intensity through consistency, not the other way around. Your nervous system needs to feel safe before your muscles will even start to thrive. In other words, strength training isn't just physical, it's actually a neurological thing that you have to adapt to. Before your muscles can grow, adapt, and perform well, your nervous system has to believe that you're no longer in danger. If your body is constantly stressed, overwhelmed, exhausted, or in that kind of a push through at all costs mode, it's going to stay in that protective state where your cortisol is high. It's a state that your body prioritizes survival and not strength, recovery, or progress. When your nervous system feels safe by adding slowly and adapting to the weight as we go, you're going to move with better coordination and control. Your muscles activate more efficiently. Your recovery is going to improve. That pain and tension or maybe even soreness is going to decrease. And the confidence in the movement grows, which honestly is my favorite part when that clicks with my clients. I love seeing it, that confidence in themselves. They're like, yeah, that's right, I just did that. It's such a joy to me. So strength training done well, manageable loads, good rest, predictable structure, kind of doing those same things, teaches your nervous system, this is controlled, this is safe. I don't need to brace or shut down. Once that safety is established, your muscles can actually thrive, getting stronger, more resilient, and more capable without constant strain or injury. So in your 20s or your 30s, I know I refer back to them a lot because it feels like so long ago, but also just yesterday, you could often jump into workouts and your muscle will just kind of follow along. In midlife, though, unfortunately, our body's asking us to slow those progressions. We need a little more recovery. We have to be intentional with good form. And we have to have a clear intention in what we're doing. It can't be a random workout. I might hit arms one day. A week later, I'll hit legs. Maybe a week later, I'll different part of my arm. It doesn't work like that. We have to be intentional with what we're doing. This is wisdom in strength training. And the faster you can understand that, the more you'll be able to progress and you'll get that building capacity you're looking for. So the capacity is going to be able to carry, to push, to pull, getting up, staying steady. These are all life skills, not just gym skills, which is pretty cool. So what I love to see when women first start, hit 2 to 3 days a week, maybe 30 to 60 minute sessions, depending on how much time you have, full body movements. Nothing fancy, nothing flashy. You're teaching your body this is safe, this is supportive, and we're building something. Walking stays or running stays, movement that you love stays. Strength training is just going to become the anchor. It is going to become that foundation so that you can do the other things well and for a long time. Once you're ready to get started and ready to go deeper, next I like to see consistency over intensity. So doing the same thing, hitting those 2 to 3 workouts a week, week after week, slowly adding the weight, maybe slowly adding a move. Pay attention to what your body needs, how it's responding, and don't force it to perform. And some days we don't push as much weight as others, and that's okay. It's just your body saying, well, hold on, maybe I need an extra minute for this. You're not necessarily doing longer workouts. You're just doing the workouts. You're listening, you're adjusting, you're trusting the process. Oh my gosh, I've heard that so much in my adult life. Trust the process. But every time I do, as long as there's an educational foundation, it has always worked to my benefit. So strength is going to become less about proving something. Again, we're not ego lifting here. It's going to become about supporting the life you're living. That is the real progress. That's what we want to see. So something that we also don't talk about enough that I've learned is that strength training can sometimes bring up grief. Maybe grief for the body you used to have or the strength you used to have. Grief for how easy things once felt. I mean, I get up now and I gotta be careful. I'm tight. My knees creak. And I'm only in my 40s. So like grief for time as someone who's both gritty because I work really hard and I love pushing through tough things, but also deeply sensitive. Something that I've learned is you can honor who you were without abandoning who you are now. My body is not behind. It's just adapting. Strength training is how I'm going to walk alongside that adaptation, not jumping ahead of it or falling behind anymore. It means that you're asking your body to meet you exactly where it is today because you're listening to it. I'm not focusing on what I did in my 20s. I'm not focusing on what other people do. I'm not focusing on that big heavy weight. I might have goals and that's great. But the big focus is going to be where I am right now and what my body needs right now. How can I push myself now without overdoing it? So there are definitely times when I almost grieve how fast I once was as a runner, or things that I once did, or when things didn't take as much training or rest or effort. It just did. Those seasons are over. And I'm okay with that, but I definitely had to work through it just a little bit and accept it. Strength training removes the illusion of I'll just push through like I used to because you're a different person than you were then. For many people, the barbell becomes like a mirror. It reflects not just the muscle and the mechanics, but all of those years lived, the stress you've carried, pregnancies you've had, injuries you've worked through, illnesses, burnout, loss. None of those things mean that you failed, but they do mean that you've changed. Change deserves to be acknowledged. As someone both gritty and sensitive, I have learned this. You can honor who you were without abandoning who you are now. Grief doesn't mean I'm weak, doesn't mean I'm ungrateful, but it does mean that I care and I'm paying attention. When you allow that grief to exist without shame, it softens into respect. I've learned to respect my body and what I am currently capable of. Now, I'm always working hard, but I'm no longer chasing my old self and the way I once did things or the way I once was. It's about building a relationship with who I am now, walking with myself. So that's pretty cool little tidbit there of helping you get your journey started, is you can't keep looking to the past and who you were or what you once did. That's healing. And once you get through that healing process, then you can really thrive. So strength training after you're 40 isn't a program that you finish. It's a program that you build and you continue to build. Some seasons I train more, others I train less. Sometimes my workouts are 5 focused movements and that's all I need. And that is just as powerful as I need it to be at that time. If you take anything from this episode, take this. You don't need to do everything. You just need to start and stop thinking about who you once were or what you once did. You need to create new goals. You need to create a new timeline of where you are right now. not aggressively, not perfectly, but intentionally. Strength training is something that you can earn by suffering, kind of. It's more of something that you can build by just showing up with patience, with respect, with consistency. This series that I'm working through, Strong Enough to Age Well, is here to walk you through the process. You're not too late, you're not too weak, and you are right on time. So I'm really excited to be working more with you guys and to keep putting more tidbits of information out. When you are ready to get started, make that appointment, find a personal trainer, get yourself to the gym, pick up those weights, work slowly, work intentionally, add weight progressively, and more than anything, learn how to listen to your body. Grieve the past so you can move forward and start looking at where you are right now. You guys, I love you. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day and get strong.